Hello, I'm Eric Klim, and this is the sunset painting we'll be doing today. I've got this set up as a fast video. I've done the sky background already as the video begins. As you can see, it's a very light orange. When I'm painting these, I usually use a primary palette, just yellow, red, and blue. The yellow is a cadmium yellow medium. The red is a cadmium red medium. And the blue is an ultramarine blue plus white. And so what I have here is I did the sky very light orange. It arcs with a little bit darker, a little more red out to the corners. And then as you can see, I used a flat brush with short bristles to sort of blend that in. I'm also using some glaze and retarder that I mix in with the paint. It keeps it from drying as fast when I do a layer like that sky. Okay, and here I've mixed some real dark ultramarine blue and some red in there to make a real deep violet. And I'm painting the ground level there. And then I did sharpen up that with real heavy paint over the actual line of the horizon, and decided to give it some shapes. What I'm painting now are some real bright yellow, real light, lots of white mixed in with it. These will be the halos of these clouds. This was the actual sunset I had seen earlier the night I painted this. The sun is just underneath the horizon, and it's shining up still through these clouds. And you'll see on the finished painting these clouds are gray, blues, purples. The sun isn't penetrating through those parts, but on the very edges, on the wisps, on the sides of the clouds it is, especially on the tops and the bottom edges, just glowing, glowing brighter than the entire sky, which is also a glowing bright yellow, orange, warm colors. And that's why I did such a dark purple to contrast. I don't use any blacks, real blacks, but you can get a pretty close to a black when you mix this red and this blue together. Especially if you mix a tinge of yellow in there, then you've got almost pure black. I'm showing this to the Ustreamers. I do broadcast these on Ustream a lot of times. That's at ustream.tv. My name on there is Astra Studios. I've explained that I put the horizon line lower than the center of the painting. You always want to put that either higher or lower. And since the sky is the actual subject of the painting, I put it lower to allow for more sky. Probably could have gone much lower than that. If your subject is in the foreground, you'll want to put your horizon line up almost near the top. You look at some Salvador Dali, he only has an inch of some sky at the top. Some of these paintings he has, everything's ground. You're looking at it from up above. But this is the opposite. This is you're on the ground looking up at these clouds that are overhead. Now this layer right here is mixtures of real light violets, real light purples, and some blues and some reds showing through it, some pinks. This is another outer edge when it comes down to it. As far as what brushes I'm using, play around with which brush you want to use. I'm using one that's a watercolor brush, actually, with acrylic paints, and it's more about the stiffness of the bristles, the shape that it leaves on the canvas. Each brush leaves a different shape. Just like a calligrapher gets familiar with his pens, you have to have your set of brushes and get familiar with your brushes, and you'll learn them. Just give yourself a lot of patience. Give yourself a lot of time while you're doing this. And I think you'll be surprised at how fast you find improvement and how fast you find satisfaction out of this. As I'm doing these, I'm getting just gradually darker, getting darker on the bottom. I remember at one point I was doing more blues on the bottoms of these clouds and more pinks near the tops, which is how I actually saw it. And then I was also going a little to the left and right with that, a little lower to the left in blue, and the pinks were on the high right side. And here I'm filling in the middles of these clouds where the light wasn't quite the sunlight isn't penetrating the cloud anymore, and it actually has some body to it. It's kind of the final stage here. I had this blue mixed up with just about as dark as I wanted to go, in contrast with that foreground ground. And then I wasn't really satisfied with that ground area, so I went ahead and mixed up some more really dark purple with the ultramarine blue and some red, tiny amount of red really. And then I even went dark green in some areas in that foreground. But this is the finished painting, and I was satisfied with it.